Cathy, manager at Rogers Gardens, here today to answer some of the most frequently asked questions about indoor plants. There's something comforting and inviting about walking into a home that has live indoor plants. Plants can help to accent your decor. They complement your personality. They can even remove harmful chemicals and pollutants that are found in everyday household items. So let's see if I can answer some of the questions that you've had about indoor plants today. The first question that we most commonly get asked in the garden center is, how do I pick a perfect plant for the perfect location? Choosing the right plant for the right location can be easy when you select a variety of plants to begin with. So just learning your home, learning the lighting situation, whether it's low light, medium light, or bright light, is going to help you select a better plant. A lot of the nurseries also have care tags inside the plant that can lead you to selecting the right plant for the right location. Just a known fact, the darker the leaves, the lower the light they can handle. So another great tip for choosing the right plant for the right location is selecting a smaller plant to begin with. If you start out with something small, you can see how it performs in the area and then move to a larger size if you're confident that it's doing well. So another question that I hear all the time in our garden center is, how often do I water? This is a difficult question to answer. It really depends on the size of the container of the plant and the type of plant that you've purchased. I can give you a couple of great tips though. You'll want to lift up your plant. The heavier the plant, the less you would water. If your plant is really light, the container is really light, and the soil is apparently dry, then you'll want to go ahead and water. I like to let my plants dry out completely before watering, with the exception of some of the orchids and the African violets. Most plants like to be dry before you water. When you do water, you're going to want to carry your plant over to the sink and submerge it completely with water till you see water coming out the bottom of the plant. Plastic saucers are a great addition, and they can be used at the base of the plant to collect any additional water runoff. You want to make sure that the water doesn't sit in the saucer for more than a day. What plants will survive in low light? Great answer. I've got some great options over here. This is the cast iron plant. Its large leaves allow it to survive in low light. This plant requires very little water and makes a great accent to the home. This particular variety has variegated leaves, which adds a little bit more interest to the plant. This is Crassula, or the Jade plant. It's a succulent, but it does phenomenal in low light situations. You would water this plant only once every 2 weeks. This is the Spathiphyllum, also known as the peace lily. It's a great option for a room where you've got your shades closed all day or very low light situations. So my next most frequently asked question is, what plants can I add for a touch of color? We've got some great selections here on the table. The Anthurium is one of our favorites. It comes in pink, red, even white. It's a very hardy plant. The one thing you want to make sure is that you use clean distilled water. Another question that I get asked all the time, and I'm guilty of it myself, is what plants will survive my not so green thumb? This is a pothos plant. This particular variety is marble. It is a very hardy selection. You can go sometimes 10 to 12 days without watering. This is a very forgiving plant, and I would definitely recommend it. The ZZ plant, or Zamifolia. This is another great option for beginners and for people that are not so good with plants. The only way to kill this plant is by overwatering it. And lastly, Sansevieria. It's one of my favorite indoor plants. It lends itself from low light, medium light to bright light. You could even put this plant in the closet for a month, forget about it, open the door, and it would still look amazing. So this is a great plant for beginner indoor gardeners and for people that travel a lot. I would definitely recommend this plant. Another question that I get asked frequently is, how do I bring color indoors? There are a lot of options available in the nursery. What you need to ask yourself, is this something that's going to stay there temporarily or permanently? Some great temporary options would be hydrangea. They're seasonal. They come in a variety of colors. These are a little more maintenance, and you do want to check the watering. Anthuriums. Anthuriums have been around for a long time, and that's because they're hardy and they work. This is a great selection in the pink variety, but they're also offered in red, white, and lavender. Bromeliads here in the foreground are another way to bring color and texture indoors. Bromeliads can survive lower light situations and require very little water and maintenance. It's a great selection for a beginner gardener. Another great option for adding color indoors are orchids. Take a look at all the beautiful selections that are available on the market today. This is a King Annean dendrobium. It's hardy, it'll bloom for months, and it has a very light, sweet fragrance. Or the jewel orchid, another great option for texture and color indoors. African violets are also a great option for a quick burst of color. They bloom for months, and they're very easy to maintain as long as you water at the base of the plant, not on the top of the foliage. And the final question that I get asked most often is, what's new and exciting in the indoor plant world? I've got some great ideas for you today, and they begin with air plants. Tillandsias have been around for a very long time, but they've recently become popular for their more modern look. This is Selaginella Moss. It's a little bit more difficult to grow indoors. You want to make sure that you've got bright light and that you've got great air circulation. It adds a great burst of color. Another great trend and a very popular item today on the market are your terrariums and your succulent containers. These plant combinations are like growing a miniature garden indoors. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it encourages you to bring the beauty of plants indoors.